Hi there, this is Helen Tarrant again from Helen. Here with our whole team. Wow, it's massive. Welcome to another episode of Commercial Property Roadshow. You're here with Helen Tarrant, and today I'm going to share with you why you should get back into the office space, in the office market, right? Well, I've just recently seen an office space which is going to one of our clients. You know, it is a $6 million property, so it's obviously a large property, but I want to share with you, this is a reason why office spaces will be rejuvenated in the next 2 to 3 years. Look, I know at the moment there's lots of things in the market that people are going, oh look, we don't have the confidence for, but the thing is, remember that if you're a 1-man or 3-person or 5 or even a 10-person operation, it's easy to downsize from that, maybe offshore some of that talent, and then work with a minimal staff that can work from home and then partly and in the office. So therefore you don't really need an office space. But what about the medium-sized firms? What about the large-sized firms? What about the international firms? They still need an office space. And this is a good example. This office space I'm going to share with you is a good example of what it is. Look, I know it's not a long video, so it's only going to be about 3 minutes or so where we're going to share with you the inside of what it looks like with what the tenant's fit out has been done, and also what it was like vacant. Now, this is a whole floor, and the location of this property is in Spring Hill. Now, Spring Hill is fringe. Now, what we found from the pandemic is that fringe and suburbia properties that have office spaces are actually becoming really, really popular. And there's certain areas where there's literally no vacancies for office space, but there's vacancies for everything else. It just happened to be popular. And it's just very, I would say very suburb and town driven. So you got to go in there and know what it is. And obviously Spring Hill is very different because one side of it is the office precinct where we have our professional staff, we've got our officers, we've got our lawyer, accountants, and also training college. The other side is actually medical. So everything is destination tenants. Now, when you see a building and you see a couple of buildings next to each other on either street, you don't know the difference. But Audica, who is the tenant here, and Applefon, who is the main, the head umbrella, they are the tenant in this building. And what they are is they're actually 3 tenants together. So Audica, Applefon, and Bayside. So they both do retail as well as referrals from doctors and specialists. And what you find with something like this is that they're actually on the lower level, they're actually in competition. At the above level, they're actually one company. So kind of like your Kellogg's and Nutrigrain kind of thing together. But it's interesting because they not only having one floor, but they are expanding. They want the entire floor. So this floor actually has 3 tenants in there. And they've got a debt collection company, and they've got a engineering company, and on smaller, they're basically getting a 250 square meter office, split it into 2, and they're both having 125 square meters each. Then you've got the large tenancy, which is somewhere like 800 to 900 square meters of tenants. And later on you could split that up, but they actually want to take over the 255 square meter space. So that's really, really good for you as a purchaser. But the other thing is, because it's so large, it's not an everyday investor who want to invest into this. And so the purchaser is picking this property up for 7.7%, and we're talking Brisbane metro properties. Now just think about the growth of that property. Someone similar to that buying a small property further down the road is paying 6% yield for a property that's about 500 to 600,000. And around that area, when we're looking at shop fronts, anything with maybe an Audica or Allied Hearing or Hearing brand tenant is going to be getting 5% retail right now in this market because they're a national tenant on 5 year leases. Now, these tenants are in the middle of a 3-year lease with 3-year options, but they've done extensive fit out over time. They came in December of 2021, and over the last 3 months, they've done extensive fit out onto this property and gradual fit out as they put more people back into the office space. But this is just a good example to show you the gradual progression of people coming back into the office. I'm going to show you the caliber of the type of tenant that will continue to occupy office spaces going forward. And of course, one of the reasons I share with you this video is so that you get to know that what is the upcoming trend. Now, people will come back into the office, and when they come back into the office space, these kind of investors who are able to be a little bit more risk tolerant, who are able to go forward where other people don't want to, will reap the rewards of this deal, because that yield will drop sharply with a tenant that is a national, international tenant to probably a 6% or 5.5%, and all of a sudden the 6 mil property is now worth somewhere like $7.5 million. So not something to joke about, right? So that is the equity back gain at the back end. So you can do something similar as that. You don't have to look at where everybody else is looking at. You can do a different strategy. You can choose to buy into office spaces other people aren't. You can choose to buy large office spaces or gather 2 or 3 of your people that you know to get to buy a large office space like this and split it into small office spaces in the future and sell it off to other people, or have a national tenant and then all of a sudden the value of that property goes up as well. So let's have a look at the inspection and I'll see you after the inspection.
Alright, this is the communication centre where calls are taken from all over the country. There we go. Alright, looking through here. We have lunchroom. The ceiling is not done in here. So it's being set up to not just lunch for the staff, but also catering.
So if it's I have, the tune has.
This is our entry foyer. We have a series of meeting rooms coming off the entry foyer. We have a ginormous ear. Reception. Another little meeting conference room, a Zoom room. Nice and soundproofed. Back of reception. Little work area. We have another little soundproof meeting room. It's out the back. Air conditioning's in there. It's an area yet to be set up. Currently it's set up in training mode. Another little meeting room. Right, so we're out in the entry foyer now, right next to the lift. That's a tune hearing, which we will have a look at in a minute. Some services, fire and water. There are 3 lifts. Comms cabinet. Bathrooms and services. More bathrooms. They're freaking huge.
So you've had a look at the property. It's pretty cool, right? It's really, really nice. And the tenant is on pretty much a triple net list. They basically take care of everything. So really, if you're looking for the ultimate set and forget, they're the type of tenant, right? Sometimes people have a stigma around strata, but it really depends on the type of strata you're buying and what you can do with it. Because ultimately, whether you're buying freestanding or strata, it's really about the versatility of the property that matters. It's about what you can make of it, and what is also not only the front end cash flow gain, but the back end capital growth gain as well. Because never before have we seen this market where in the first 2 years people chase basically cash flow because they don't associate there's enough growth with commercial property, so they chase cash flow. But we're in a different market now. We're in a market where it's a seller's market, and if you want to maintain value, you want to make sure that there's longevity to your property, there's never been a better time to seek more value in your property. But value varies from property to property. You can get value in a freestanding building, you can get value through a strata, you can get a value in a rundown warehouse. It all depends, and each and every one of commercial property is different, which is why I continue to make these videos to show you how you can make them and maximize the maximum potential of your commercial property, right? So in this deal, what we're going to see is the ultimate exit is that you'll get to revalue this property. Probably you hold on to it. For this person who have longevity, you hold on to it because the confidence is not back yet for probably 3 years until the tenant takes up the option, and at which point we would have very little vacancies in the office space. The office market would have recovered. They go for revaluation, they pick up the maximum return because they've got a national tenant that's been there for 3 years, established tenant, has the whole floor, prime location, and what that's going to equate to is probably a 20 to 30% jump on the back end for their capital growth. All along, while the interest rates are 2.5% to 3% in commercial, they're picking up 7.5% to 8% yield, so cash flow. So they're actually getting about they're clearing like a 5% pure yield cash flow in the pocket on this deal. So on something that is like a $6 million deal, they'll probably be able to clear something like $200,000 to $250,000 in cash flow in just one deal. So whichever way you look at it is a great deal, but you have to know how to pick it to know, and then you need to know how to put that deal together and know what the exit is. So if you want me to do something similar for you in your portfolio but just smaller, whether it's $1 million deal or a $500,000 deal or a $2 or $3 million deal, or perhaps you're building out a portfolio, reach out to me, helentarrant.com or helen@commercialpropertycashflow.com.au, and don't forget to hit the bell, subscribe, and I'll see you at the next episode. But don't forget to leave me some comments because I want to help you and really develop more videos that is what you want to hear. All right, so leave me comments, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.